For me, 2024 was the biggest year on the bike yet. I did some Zwift streaming, then I went skiing, got COVID, had to cram 12 weeks of training into 4, found all of Sydney's best climbs, did one of them 10 times in a row, did the Peaks Challenge and was totally overwhelmed by the positive support, considered getting a coach, bought heaps of stuff, agonised over riding Cat A or B in Zwift, spent $1,000 on a bike computer, bought a gravel bike, did a gravel event, didn't crash, trained my ass off for an event that got cancelled, $1,000 head unit, almost got smashed. Did my first road race, got smashed. Joined an in real life club, got smashed again. And that brings me to here. I'm about to cross over 12,000 kilometers for the year. It's not the most, but given in 2020 I did 0, I'm pretty happy with the outcome. This is my 2024 year in review. I had some pretty ambitious goals this year. Do you think I managed to get them all done? Okay, if you're a regular here, then welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I'm BK Payton, but most people know me as the Moderate Cyclist. I'm a 41-year-old cyclist from Sydney in Australia. I started cycling in 2021 after I tore my ACL skateboarding. And well, I haven't looked back since. Each year, I set myself goals to keep pushing myself. I'm too old to be anything more than moderate, but is it even a hobby if you're not all in? I started a YouTube channel to explore the world of cycling, connect with other cyclists, and to share my experiences so that maybe they help or inspire others. There's nothing saying you can't be moderate and still smash it at the same time. I had a lot of goals this year, so I broke them down into 3 categories: performance, experience, and community. If you want to see the full video about those goals, you can check it out here. Let's start with performance. The first one here was 12,000 kilometers for the year. This is a pretty easy one. Alright, that's 1,200, and now. This one meant that I needed to increase my weekly load from 200 kilometers a week to 230 kilometers a week. Although, in hindsight, it was probably better to set the target at 250 kilometers a week, just to give you a little bit of overage in case you have a low week or a rest week somewhere there in the middle. My second performance goal was getting to a 4.5 watt per kilo FTP. I can't honestly say that I achieved this goal this year. As my training progressed, the leap from 4.3 to 4.5 felt massive. I made the decision this year to step away from doing ramp tests and start doing 20-minute power tests instead. I did my all-time highest 20-minute power of 335 watts, weighing in at around about 78 kilos. If you do the maths, this is an FTP of 318, which is just a touch over 4 watts per kilo. If you consider that, I functionally went backwards. What this has come to make me realise is that ramp tests are probably fairly inaccurate. They're good as an estimate, but if you're really trying to dial your power, they're more likely to inflate the number that they're going to give you, especially if you have a strong 5 to 10 minute power. So ultimately, I claimed to have finished last year with an FTP of 4.3 watts per kilo, but this is probably not the case. It was probably closer to 4.1 or 4.2, which meant that trying to get from 4.1 or 2 up to 4.5 is why it felt so massive. I'm disappointed that I didn't hit the goal, but I'm happy that my power is performing at an all-time high. I also set all-time PRs for 60-minute and 90-minute power this year. It feels like I've kind of filled in the gaps in my power profile to be able to hold higher watts for a much longer period of time. Ultimately, I think this is a better outcome. A sub 9 minute McCars Creek Road is another goal that eluded me this year. If you've spent any time watching the channel, you know that McCars Creek Road is around about a 4.5 kilometre climb right near where I live in Sydney's north. I ride this comb a lot, but it takes a special day to be able to go for a PR. I've managed to go under 10 minutes twice this year, but neither of those times have bettered my PR that I set last year. The general boost in my performance I think has made it easier to go for faster times up this King of the Mountain, but I'm beginning to realise that going under 9 minutes is probably not something I'm going to be able to achieve alone. I shared a video a few weeks back where I made a run at it with some of the guys from Manly Warringah Cycling Club. This seems like my best chance of achieving the sub 9 target. Some of the guys in this group are more than capable of coming in under 9 minutes, so getting in their wheel is probably my best chance. I'm not sure I'm going to set this goal again specifically for next year, but I feel like getting in under 9 is one of those lifetime achievements for anyone who lives around this part of Sydney. Okay, let's change gears and talk about experience goals. 2024 was a huge year for me. I tried a whole lot of new things and I came such a long way as a cyclist. My first goal was to just finish the Peaks Challenge. If you're not familiar with what this race is, it's based in Falls Creek in Victoria, Australia. It's 235 kilometres and 4,000 metres climbing over the course of a 13-hour maximum time limit. I set myself a target of 10 hours for the course, which is considered the achievement bracket. In terms of an experience, this is easily the hardest thing that I've done on a bike, if not of all time. But it is also one of the most rewarding events that I've done to date. The vibe at this event is like none other. Falls Creek is a ski resort, so it's perched on top of a mountain. So while the race is running, the only people on the mountain are cyclists. Everyone there has one mission, and because it's not actually a race, it's just a time trial against yourself, the camaraderie is high. I talked to a lot of people about this event, and I recommend it to almost everybody. Many people think that they don't have what it takes to be able to do an event like this, or they don't have the time to do the necessary training. My lead into this one was less than ideal. 6 weeks out from the event, I got COVID after flying back from Japan. This gave me a 4-week training period to prepare for the event. You can see my training plan here, but even with that, I managed to finish the event in 9 hours and 45 minutes. To be clear, I don't think that this is a couch to completion type event, but if you have a solid base, if you're riding like 200 kilometers a week, then you should be able to do this event with a minimal modification to your training plan, adding a few extra hours and a focus on climbing, and you'll be able to get through the course. I love this event so much, I'm going again this year. Definitely one to add to the bucket list. Next up, after hitting 1,000 subscribers on the channel, I took the plunge and bought a gravel bike. On recommendation from a close friend, I did Gears and Beers in Wagga as my first gravel event. The day didn't disappoint. The Dirty 130 was a well-organised event and an interesting course. The event is not timed and it's not an overly technical course. I would definitely recommend this one for someone getting into gravel. Not to mention the festival in Wagga after the event is a fantastic experience. I'm not sure I will do this event again this year. I will be looking for something maybe a little bit more technical, maybe timed, maybe a race even. If you've got some suggestions, let me know. Last up for experience is a road or a crit race. I was keen to do something that was an actual race. I just managed to squeeze this one in at the end of the year. Manly Warringah Cycling Club do a monthly road race called the West Head Road Race. I entered B grade and got absolutely schooled in racecraft. This was much harder than the Zwift races that I'm used to doing at a similar level. I hesitated entering races like this because I felt like it was going to be too difficult. I felt like I had to do too much registration, it was too costly, and it was just too much to try and get involved with. But it was actually really easy. You can get a free 4-week trial with Oz Cycling, so you don't have to worry about that. You can just give it a go for free. And then you kind of just show up on the day, join the grade that you want, and give it a crack. If you're hesitating on this one, I say bite the bullet and just do it. There is so much more for me to learn here. I'm really keen to get a few more of these under my belt in 2025. The final category is community, and my first goal was to join an in real life club. This was kind of 2 birds with 1 stone. When I signed up to do the road race, I also had to sign up to Oz Cycling, which meant that I had to pledge my allegiance to a club. My local club is the Manly Warringah Cycling Club. It was a done deal. After my 4-week free trial, I signed on the dotted line. This is another one of those things that I hesitated on doing. Why? I don't know, really. If you're thinking about joining a club, I say do it. Do it now. You can go for a traditional club like I did, or you can join a neo club like Pastries CC. I rode with both of these crews this year. They were supportive, welcoming and encouraging. Just choose a crew that's going to support your cycling goals and you're good to go. Finally, I had a goal of hitting 500 subscribers on this YouTube channel. I started the year with 100 subscribers and set myself what felt like an ambitious goal of 500 subscribers. As of this week, we've just hit 1,500 subscribers on the channel. I couldn't be more appreciative. Wow, 300% of my goal. I've had a couple of times this year where people have recognised me and said hello whilst out riding.
Are you the Cyclist?
Yeah, man. Cheers, bro.
I still can't believe this. It blows me away. Thanks to everyone who's watched or subscribed this year. If you're still watching and you haven't subscribed yet, jump on board. I have heaps of cool plans for the coming year. It'll be worth sticking around. Here are some of my favourite comments from the year. So many great comments, it's hard to know where to start. This is a collection of comments from people who are regulars to the channel and that are generally uplifting and inspirational. It's comments like these that makes it all worth it. There are a lot of comments that have encouraged me to grow as a cyclist. A lot of people take the time to banter with me and discuss backwards and forth certain strategies or approaches. I really appreciate this type of conversation, especially those who take the time to outline and recommend some of their favourite routes. It's always nice to get a little bit of love from some of the other YouTube influencers in this space. Great to see that they're watching my videos and taking the time to leave a comment for me. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. We all appreciate it. Last but not least, the trolls and the people who keep me honest. You can't have a yin without a yang. Thanks for taking the time for watching my videos, and I do appreciate your comments, no matter how spicy they are. Okay folks, that brings us to a close. I'm working on my goals for 2025, and I'm also planning my Training for Peaks challenge,
which is only in 8 weeks.
If you had goals for 2024, I'd love to hear what they were and how you went with them. If you've got any suggestions for me for what could be in my 2025 goals, let me know in the comments as well. Other than that folks, until next time, see ya!